Eala recently inked a contract that has the whole WTA conversation. $1 million or more contract that was unexpected. In a sport where sponsorships determine legacies, a 19-year-old Filipino celebrity simply revised the regulations. This isn't only concerning money. Power is at issue. Impact, as well as a daring action that could transform women's tennis indefinitely. However, this is the twist. The company responsible for this, it's not who you think, deal. Additionally, the responses, they've split the tennis world in the center. Eala was "I was never meant to be here. Not right now" level, not so quickly. Originally from Quezon City, Philippines, where she was raised in a nation where tennis wasn't merely a minority sport. It was nearly undetectable. However, Eala was more than just a tennis player. Dominated it. When she was 14, she was working out at Spain's Rafa Nadal Academy surrounded by the top junior in the world players. She had won the US Open by the age of 17, Girls Doubles Championship and the Australian Open Singles Championship for girls. She wasn't only excellent, she was unavoidable. However, junior achievement doesn't always translate into success in the workplace. The WTA circuit is harsh, merciless, and riddled with prodigies' careers who was unable to jump. Eala was aware this. She observed athletes wilt and burn out, battle with injuries and fade into oblivion and uncertainty about oneself. But she continued to ascend. She made her WTA main draw debut at the Abierto Akron Zapopan in 2022 Mexico. Although she lost, she gained knowledge. Each and every the match served as a resiliency masterclass. Every setback teaches patience. By the Eala had entered the top 200 in 2024. The top 150 after that. Her forehand was deadly, her cunning, and her incredible marketability. She was youthful, captivating, multilingual, and represented a country with more than 110 million people. Those without a tennis star in their lives to claim as their own. The Philippines gathered in support of her. Social media burst at each victory. Filipino admirers didn't only back Eala, they worshipped brands took notice of her. Adidas, Nike, they all circled, Wilson and Rolex. Eala's every week, the agent answered calls, occasionally every day. She didn't hurry though. She didn't sign the first contract that was presented to her. Eala understood, so she waited. Something that most young athletes do not. Your first significant endorsement contract doesn't only determine your financial destiny. It permanently establishes your brand's identity. She therefore declined the offers. Repeatedly. Her group declined six-figure offers that the majority of players would have quickly signed. They had to make a plan. They were anticipating something larger, something that would make the past. However, no one was aware of the media, not her rivals, not even the majority of her sponsors were that Eala was already in behind closed doors. Converses with a huge brand, thus surprising that when the news eventually broke, shockwaves would be sent through the whole world of sports. However, how does a 19-year-old gets a better bargain more than some Grand Slam winners receive in a year? What transpired holds the key. Next, and it's not what you would anticipate. It began with only one email. March of 2024, a message was sent to Eala's agency by a luxury company with a reputation for collaborating having just the best athletes in the world. LVMH, the parent company firm responsible for Dior, Louis Vuitton, and Tiffany & Company. They were infatuated with Eala. Alongside her, executives at LVMH had been observing her ascent for more than a year, examining her use of social media, her potential and her demographic reach to control markets in Asia. They observed something exceptional, a sportsman who could surpass tennis to become a worldwide cultural symbol. However, there was an issue. LVMH had never collaborated with a WTA player who was not in the top 100. Their legends were athletes. Roger Federer, Serena Williams, and Naomi Osaka. Eala was indeed gifted, but unproven at the highest degree. Being her sponsor was a risk, a huge, costly risk. That hesitancy was evident in the original offer. A $800,000 two-year contract with Grand Slam-related performance bonuses outcomes. It was rejected by Eala's team. Right away. Not because the funds were terrible, it changed my life, but because they were aware that Eala's worth went beyond her position. It was about her narrative, her impact, her capacity to establish a connection with millions of admirers throughout Southeast Asia, a sector where luxury brands are in dire need of desire to get inside. Thus, they counter-offered a $12 5-year contract. Million with yearly payments assured irrespective of performance. LVMH chuckled. They then engaged in negotiations. For 3 months, attorneys traveled by plane between Paris, Manila, and New York. Contracts were written and ripped up and revised. The Eala team insisted veto power and creative control over campaigns' influence over brand collaborations, and a provision that permitted her to keep her current sponsors of rackets and clothing. LVMH resisted all of this. However, Eala remained stationary. At the age of 19, like a CEO, she was negotiating. The June saw a breakthrough. LVMH concurred to a $9.6 million, 4-year contract with an opportunity to grow. Eala would assume the role of Louis Vuitton's new sporty luxury brand, a line created to combine high fashion with athletic apparel for performance. She would show up in international campaigns with LeBron James' Zendaya as well. Her signature would be unique. Tennis bag, personalized on-court gear, as well as a portion of sales income. It was the type of agreement that typically Grand Slam winners, not adolescents still vying for victories at the tour level. However, this is where things get trickier. A portion of the contract obligated Eala to maintain the agreement private until LVMH's formal declaration in August. No leaks, no clues, complete quiet. Eala, I concur. The contract was signed by her in a private event in Paris, surrounded by lawyers and executives. Champagne was poured, pictures were taken, and then everyone fell silent. For a period of 2 months, Eala participated in competitions, conducted interviews, and shared on social media. While perched on the greatest secret in women's tennis. Her rivals were unaware. The media was unaware. Even a portion of her closest friends were unaware of it until it was leaked by someone. Just one picture, one screenshot, and all of a sudden the world of tennis was about to blow up. On July 29, 2024, a sports rumor account uploaded a grainy image of a contract on X synopsis that includes Eala's name and Louis Vuitton emblem. The caption said, Alex Eala will soon receive a multi-million-dollar payment. The $LV deal is about to expire. It here first. An hour later, the post received 50,000 views. In 3 hours, major journalists covering tennis were rushing to verify the narrative. At midnight, it was everywhere. Eala's group became terrified. LVMH terrified. The formal declaration wasn't meant to occur for another 2 weeks. However, the leak compelled their hand. The following morning, Louis Vuitton issued a statement. We are overjoyed to announcing our collaboration with Alex Eala, among the most captivating young athletes worldwide. We'll redefine together what it means to be a victor on and away from the court. The number wasn't revealed, but insiders attested to it. $9.6 million over a 4-year period. For perspective, that goes beyond what the majority of top 50 WTA players receive prize money every year. It was an astounding, unprecedented agreement for a person ranking 147th globally. Additionally, the internet went insane. Supporters rejoiced. Filipino pride erupted on social media. Eala's in 24 hours, Instagram attracted 200,000 followers. Hours, but the criticism came right away. And vicious. She was accused by tennis purists of putting money before merit. She hadn't earned a deal, according to critics. Of that magnitude. A few players, speaking anonymously, described it as a smack and unfair. In the face of sportsmen who have truly got a prize. One previous player in the top 10 tweeted, endorsements ought to show accomplishment rather than Instagram followers. This creates a risky precedent. Posted, I had won 3 WTA championships prior to got my first big deal, but she hasn't made any money. Makes sense of everything, but the worst criticism originated from an unexpected source, a well-known sports agent who informed a reporter, Alex Eala is being prepared for failure. LVMH is placing a wager on potential rather than outcomes. If she doesn't, this transaction will haunt you, so start winning quickly. Her professional life. The strain just became intolerable. For 3 days, Eala said nothing. Interviews, no posts on social media, simply stillness before posting on August 2nd. A single Instagram picture of her in a personalized Louis Vuitton tracksuit with a tennis racket looking straight at the camera. They said I wasn't prepared. Watch me demonstrate them. Incorrect. 1. 2 million people liked the post. The comments were divided in half. Half praised her, and the other half felt she'd regret it, but there was no denying it. Eala had recently emerged as the most discussed female tennis player. Additionally, the WTA was forced to reply, but the tour's following words would alter everything and compel Eala to make an unfeasible decision. The WTA typically refrains from commenting on certain player recommendations. It's not their athletes are self-sufficient. Contractors are free to execute any agreements they desire, but the collaboration with LVMH was distinct. It wasn't only an approval. It was a cultural occasion, and the tour was unable to overlook it. WTA CEO Steve Simon announced on August 5 a well-crafted declaration. Commemorate the accomplishments of all our athletes, both on and off the field. Eala is a symbol of women's tennis, and it makes us happy to see her acknowledged by one of the greatest prestigious brands. Nevertheless, we urge every player to keep in mind that in the end, success in this sport is evaluated based on performance, not collaborations. At first glance, it appeared encouraging, but read between the lines, because it was evident that Eala had to begin to prevail. The underlying message was impossible to overlook. The WTA was quietly putting the hoopla behind it, safeguarding its reputation in the event that Eala's career fell short of the agreement. However, the true drama took place behind the scenes. According to people close to the trip, a number of players were tricked. Expressed worries during a private player council meeting. The problem, they thought Eala's agreement would skew the market for endorsements, creating brands give social media influence precedence over tennis accomplishments. One council member purportedly stated, if a player ranked a bargain like this is available to anyone outside the top 100, what does that indicate about the value of genuinely triumphing in competitions? The argument escalated further, with some players defending Eala contends that marketability is merely as valid as awards. Others felt deceived, saying they'd spent years grinding while on tour, only to be eclipsed by a person who hadn't proved herself yet. The meeting came to an end. Without a conclusion, but the conflict was tangible, followed by the interviews. Always courteous, Angeber was asked regarding the agreement at a press conference in Toronto. Good, she answered with a smile. For Alex. I hope she makes use of the funds to employ the top trainers and coaches since she will require them. The tour is brutal. It sounded similar to support, but the implication was sharp. Eala was going to encounter a degree of pressure and scrutiny that could damage her. Jessica Pegula was more straightforward. When questioned about whether an endorsement should ranks, she stated, I believe players ought to be compensated fairly, yet worth is personal, isn't it? Are more valuable due to their location. From who they stand for. That's simply reality. It's not always equitable, however, it's our line of work. The most scathing reaction came from a seasoned performer who had been touring for more than 10 years. In an off-the-record speaking with a reporter, Eala just painted a target on her, she remarked. Back. Now, in every game she plays, opponents will seek to destroy her. Not because they despise her, but because using the $10 million to beat the girl deal, that's a claim. She had better be she was prepared. Eala's next Cleveland hosted the tournament's first round. She took on a qualifier who was rated 220th in the world. Eala's match was vicious. 6 feet 2 inches 63 lost in straight sets. She appeared tense, anxious, and preoccupied following the match. She was surrounded by reporters, one of whom inquired, marketing masterpiece? Eala has a long way to go. From the beginning. She has demonstrated resiliency, bravery, and the capacity to execute under intense pressure, but the narrative is about more than simply her. The power of women's tennis in the future of representation and the evolving athletic endorsement market. Whether you think she deserved the LVMH, whether it's a deal or not, one thing is certain. The game has been altered by her. If you wish to watch as this tale develops, then click the subscribe button to enable alerts because to the upcoming chapter, it will be much larger. Leave a comment here. Do you believe Eala is the pressure, or does it deserve the steal? Too much. Are you under pressure from the LVMH deal? Eala gave a composed reply, but tense. Every time it's tennis when you step on the court. Deal doesn't alter that, but it did, and everyone was aware of it. The reaction was one thing, but the subsequent events would test if Eala was merely a company or an real winner. The Eala LVMH agreement was more than just a sports tale. It developed into a flashpoint in culture. She was honored in the Philippines as a national hero. Articles appeared in news outlets. Politicians applauded her while traveling. Is a representation of Filipino brilliance. Her visage was put on billboards in Manila. Next to the Louis Vuitton emblem. Was no longer merely a tennis player. Was a movement, but it became visible at a price. Almost instantly, Eala was charged with selling out. Said that by collaborating with she was a luxury brand from Europe. Giving up her roots and pursuing Western affirmation rather than encouraging Filipinos' brands. Local businesses that had encouraged her early career felt one Filipino sportswear company was insulted. In an interview, the CEO stated, "We thought when nobody else did, in Alex. Currently, she's on court, wearing Louis Vuitton. It hurts." The criticism grew more intense when Eala made an appearance in her first LVMH campaign. The advertisement was beautiful. Cinematic images of her training in Paris while sporting personalized LV sportswear scattered, including video of her early years in Manila. The slogan, "Champions are made everywhere. Here, legends are created." It was stunning. It was ambitious and it was contentious. Filipino activists condemned the campaign for removing Eala is from a working-class family. They noted that the price of Louis Vuitton bags greater than the typical monthly income in the Philippines, establishing the collaboration feel deaf. A widely shared tweet stated, "Alex Eala stands for a nation where millions of people are impoverished, and how is it possible to sell $3,000 handbags? Empowering." Eala responded to the criticism in an uncommon lengthy Instagram post. "I'm proud of where I originate from. I will always remember my family's efforts in order to obtain me here, but I also won't provide an apology for achieving success. This agreement provides me with the resources for top-notch training, to inspire and compete with the upcoming Filipino generation athletes. If that means I'm a sellout, then be it." Reactions to the post were conflicting. Responses. Supporters gave her high marks. Sincerity. Critics referred to it as defensive. One thing, though, could not be disputed. Eala had become a divisive character, and discussion is driven by divisive figures. LVMH was ecstatic. Each and every headline, each discussion, the brand was only enhanced by controversy. Visibility. Eala's interaction on Instagram soared. Her name was popular. Every week. People love her or detest her. Couldn't stop discussing her. However, there was more in-depth cultural discussion. Asian tennis enthusiasts viewed Eala's contract as a triumph for representation. For many years, Asian athletes had been disregarded by large brands in spite of their marketability and fan bases. Naomi Osaka had shattered. She was an exception, though. Eala's collaboration with LVMH indicated a change, evidence that brands were at last appreciating Asian athletes' worth. However, some Asian athletes experienced conflicting emotions. One WTA player from China speaking stated anonymously, "I'm pleased for Alex, however, I also wonder if she would have received same agreement if she had a different appearance? Although her English wasn't flawless, if she wasn't as conducive to the media?" Complex. The unsettling reality was that the success of Eala wasn't just concerning skill. Timing was crucial. Presentation, as well as the appropriate type of marketability. She was stunning. Expressive and unclear in terms of culture, sufficient to appeal to both Asian and Western viewers. That isn't a criticism of Eala. It's in recognition of how the endorsement sparked concerns about how the sector operates. That nobody wished to respond to. In the interim, Eala continued to play. She was defeated in the US Open's opening round, followed by the Tokyo for the second round. Her ranking fell to 162. The murmurs intensified more loudly. "She's preoccupied. The agreement was an error. She isn't concentrating on tennis. No longer." Eala, however, remained silent. She failed to post. She did not stand up for herself. She simply continued to work. Next, in a tournament that no one anticipated, but she's something that quieted each and every critic. The Guangzhou Open in October 2024, a Southern China hosted the WTA 250 event. Minimal stakes, little media attention. Eala entered with a 412 as an unseeded player. Record since she signed a contract with LVMH. No, anything was anticipated, but something had moved. In the first round, Ia won a past player in the top 30 in 3 sets. In the second round, she destroyed a rising Chinese stars 63 and 62. In the quarterfinals, she defeated the 6th seed in a tiebreaker thriller. All of a sudden, people were paying focus. Journalists who had written about her weeks prior hurried to conceal her run. Social media was buzzing, and Eala, she remained concentrated. Semifinals behind by 25 in Eala faced match point in the third set. Blasted a winning forehand down the line that attracted the crowd's attention. She took home 5 straight games to end the game. After the game, she was interviewed by Inquired as to how she managed to turn things around. Her respond, "I no longer give a damn what people thought. I recalled why I began initially engaging in tennis. For the transactions rather than the notoriety, since this game is fantastic." The final was versus a player in the top 50 who has never lost against everyone who wasn't in the top 100, 176-64, her first WTA championship. The instant when the last point struck, she fell onto the court sobbing, not out of happiness, but relief that she wasn't a scammer, because she was a part of the agreement, the criticism, the pressure, it was all worthwhile, according to a statement from LVMH champions deliver in less than an hour. Most importantly, congratulations, Alex. 3 million people saw the post. Eala's ranking on Instagram skyrocketed. Leaped to 104. Suddenly, the story reversed, but this is what most people are unaware, that Eala's narrative isn't its only getting started. That Guangzhou, the controversy was not resolved by the title. Failed to verify the $9.6 million. One WTA 250 title is amazing, but it's not a big deal. Long-term success. The true test is what will happen next. Can Eala break into the top 50? Is she capable of competing in majors? She manages the stress of not simply a tennis player, but a company ambassador, a symbol of culture, and an emblem for a whole country? The LVMH agreement provided her with financial stability, worldwide visibility, and a stage on, which the majority of athletes never obtain, but it also provided her with aspirations that can break her if the WTA is observing her carelessness. Companies are observing, and the next day generation of athletes is observing, pondering whether to pursue endorsements or awards first. IA has turned into a case study, evidence that opportunities can arise from marketability, but also a caution that chances can backfire in the absence of results. Some players despise her, while others admire her. However, everyone appreciates what she has done. Since, in the end, Alex Eala did more than simply sign a contract. Initiated a discussion about worth, value, as well as what it means to be a champion in the contemporary sports era. Here's the query. Was this transaction an innovation or a burden? A clever, a risky gamble, or a business move? More significantly, will Alexa demonstrate that she is not merely a